Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Straight Talk. Once again, we have the guru, Cameron Deggan, with us. Hello, Cameron. Welcome to another episode. Now, before we go any further, there's a topic that I need to touch up on.
Okay.
So allow me 30 seconds, please, if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
Quite a few people have asked me where Aladdin is. Aladdin, I killed him. I buried him in my backyard and poured cement on him.
My God.
Now he's coming back with something bigger and better.
I think Aladdin has done enough of straight talks.
He has, hasn't he?
Wants
He's
to-
sick of it.
For 4 or 5 years, he's done enough of straight talks. So now he wants to do something different.
Just a hot topic currently in the real estate market in Turkey. Exciting stuff are happening. As far as I know, there are some new rules and regulations coming in regarding short-term rentals.
Okay, I mean, before going into what's happening with short-term lettings, I just want to give a brief history, if you don't mind, as
No,
to,
of course not.
how the lettings market has been moving.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of our clients, they invest significant sums of money in the Turkish real estate, and naturally, they would like to receive a decent income out of it. So at the end of the day, when you look at investment, you've got to look at ongoing income from your investment.
Absolutely.
As opposed to value growth, the appreciation. Although, in the past 10, 20 years, Turkey has rewarded investors quite handsomely with very steep capital growth. What you bought for 200 in 3-4 years, you sold for 400. That's phenomenal capital growth.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly where the money was made.
Exactly. This is exactly where money was made.
Yeah.
And when you go through times where you put down 200 and you sell it as 400 3-4 years down the line, and we enjoyed this in multiple cycles in the last 15 years or so, and although ongoing income, in other words, the rental income that you receive from your real estate is also as important. But when you have such steep capital growth, you know what? Ongoing income, rental income kind of became the secondary thing to look at.
It was more or less chicken feed, wasn't it?
Exactly, because compared to the value growth, the rental income you generated was
It didn't really bother you that it wasn't.
It didn't really bother you that you didn't hit 10% ROI on rental income or 10% rental yield. Now, so a lot of our clients, like many Turkish people here, what they would do is they would rent their properties on long-term tenancy basis. So you sign a contract for a minimum 1 year, repeatable,
And then renew it each year.
renewable at the end of the year. Now, what has happened in the last 3-4 years, particularly since 2018, is that Turkey, the inflation rate in Turkey started accelerating to such an extent that in the last 2-3 years in particular, we've seen inflation reaching over 50-60%, up to 100%
Yeah.
at one point last year.
Defo.
However, what the government did, and the Turkish government tends to be heavily on the side of the tenants. Okay, they want to protect tenants.
Definitely.
The tenants' rights.
Yeah, the rules, the
are
laws
quite
and everything,
heavy,
they support the tenant big time.
They do. So what the Turkish government did, I think they started this 3 years ago, is they put a cap on how much you could increase the rent that you charge to your tenant, and that cap was 25%.
It was definitely 25%.
Now, in the last 2-3 years, 25% fell significantly short of the inflation in Turkey, which means that if you are a landlord who rented your property 3 years ago and today you still have the same tenant, because I have to say that evicting a tenant based on the rental income is almost impossible. So if you rented your property 3 years ago on long-term basis, the first year you may have received your 5% rental income, which in fact was the average yield in Istanbul, 4.5 to 5%. Today, from the same property, your yield in hard currency terms is probably down to 2.5 to 3%.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
your rental increase in the last 3 years fell significantly short of the inflation. Hence, people who've got long-term tenants are currently
Struggling,
not
to say
really
the least.
pleased with
Yeah,
the income
struggling
they
to say the
generate.
least. Let's keep it mild. Yeah.
So, but what happened is, with very rapidly increasing tourism numbers in Turkey, particularly in Istanbul, a very healthy income generator kicked in recent years,
Called
Airbnb.
or short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals, mainly through Airbnb, Bookings.com, TripAdvisor, other facilities that people can use.
Apparently,
Also,
there's quite a few of them.
quite a few of them.
My
but
dear friend
Airbnb,
Shayan
I
was
think,
saying-
has been the main champion all around the world, not
Yes.
just in Turkey. Airbnb as a company grew rapidly in recent years. Now, what is happening now, however, is that some new regulations are being discussed on a white paper in the parliament, and in January we shall see some new regulations coming into effect in order to regulate the Airbnb operation in Turkey. So what will happen, this is quite clear, is that there will be some restrictions and limitations as to where and what types of properties you can operate Airbnb short-term lettings, and also there'll be some restrictions brought upon the operators. They will need certain
That was going to be my next question.
they will
I mean,
need
yeah.
certain types of licenses too. So this is one area that investors coming into Turkey, particularly Istanbul, looking to invest in real estate with the hope of generating close to 10% rental yields.
Well, to be honest,
net in their pocket.
yeah, net in because some places I've even heard higher. I mean, I'm
I
not
know.
going to set my
know.
foot in it.
What we are generating now, on behalf of our clients who manage Airbnb, who do Airbnb, what we do is we facilitate their Airbnb operation. We do their property management and we run the Airbnb on their behalf. In other words, we provide the service to them. We are able to deliver between 7 up to 10% net in their pockets.
It's amazing, isn't it?
These are phenomenal
that's
figures in
ridiculous. It
rental-
really is.
in-
It's
in
amazing.
rental-
It really is.
rental terms, and people are very, very happy.
Well,
However,
yeah, they should be. I mean,
and they are.
Come on,
However,
mate, 8-10%.
new regulations are coming, and it is rather important that we advise our future investors and current investors as to what these regulations are.
Okay, let me cut you off here. I have to
Please.
cut because there's something bugging my mind. Why did they need to
question.
bring in new regulations? What was wrong? What was happening?
Very good. Very, very good. And this is, thanks for asking this. Certain other countries, as far as I remember, the state of New York included, as a state in the US, is they have banned Airbnb altogether. I
Why?
might be wrong in New York, but I think New York is included in this list. They have gone and banned Airbnb
I've
altogether.
not heard this.
Why?
What's the reason?
Well, the main reason, in my opinion, what the governments are trying to do, amongst other things, is to kind of bring some sort of a balance. That if they restrict short-term lettings to only a select few types of properties and operators, then they're giving a breath of fresh air, so to speak, to the hotel sector. Now, I think in Turkey, the concerns are similar too, other than regulating and monitoring what goes on in the short-term lettings, because, there are also risks associated with short-term lettings.
As far as I know, everyone was trying to do it. I mean, they've got a spare
Yes,
room. They've got a spare room, and then
yes.
they're just saying, "Oh, come on in, you can stay in." But how do you know that place is safe?
Who that
How do you know
person
who's
is?
running the place? Is it going to be
Exactly,
clean?
exactly.
So I can understand.
So
did.
can I. So
Do
can
you know
I.
what I mean? We needed some
We
sort
needed
of
some sort of monitoring mechanism.
exactly,
We needed some
exactly,
sort
and it
of
wasn't happening. Everyone was doing it.
regulation. There will be regulations on short-term lettings, and we need to talk about them.
Let's talk about them. Tell us what's going on because we need to know.
Okay.
The people
Now,
need to know.
Now, although the final draft is not out yet, so I can't sit here and say I know exactly what the laws and regulations surrounding short-term lettings will be in January when they're announced.
But you're Cameron Deggan, and you have an idea. I know you do.
We have been party to this whole shaping of these regulations.
Exactly.
Our opinions, like many others, have been sought, and we gave our opinions. And we have seen where the white bill stands as of today. In other words, we know what they're proposing.
Okay.
Now, obviously, once they propose this and once it comes out in January, without a doubt, in months to follow, there will be small adjustments to it, small amendments to it, exceptions here, exceptions there, as always is the case. But the main body of it, if I was to summarize it, say within, I don't know, 3 major categories of real estate that our clients invest in, I would look at one, multi-dwelling residences, like mass residences.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is residences with 300, 400, 500 units. Plus, generally they're the high-rise ones in Istanbul, but they don't have to be high-rise ones. They're the ones that have almost hotel-like facilities, from a lobby to a reception to swimming pool or pools to fitness facilities to car parking facilities. I think you get the message.
Yeah, absolutely.
As to what types of residences I'm
everybody,
talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that would be class 1 that we can talk about. Class 2 is the smaller, what we call the boutique apartment blocks, where you've got an apartment block of 10, 20, 30 apartments, what we call the more family residences, okay, smaller, more boutique developments.
Okay.
And the third category I would like to talk about, which is a category that has, upon which demand has increased noticeably in the last 18 months. So that's why I actually want to talk about it.
Well, we actually spoke about it in the previous video as well, so we need to elaborate on it.
So we need to elaborate on that.
Exactly.
The third category is what we call small buildings and small hotels. These are buildings that have maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 rooms or 20 one-bedroom apartments within them, one building, that people are operating as small hotels. Generally, Airbnb and Booking.com is the source generating the demand for them. And also small buildings.
But are they hotels? Like,
that's what I'm going to get to.
Right.
Within that category, there are also similar types of small buildings that don't necessarily have star grading, or they could have 1-star grading, but they do have hotel licenses.
Very important.
They have obtained hotel licenses, or when the investment was made, it came with a hotel license. That's the third category. So I'd like to talk about these because these kind of make up almost 80-90% of what foreign investors invest in.
Okay,
Particularly in Istanbul.
Well, please do, because I could sit here all night, because this is really important. So I want to listen, talk.
Now, when it comes to large residences, let's call it the residences with hotel-style services.
And there's quite a few now in Istanbul.
There are quite a few in Istanbul,
Yeah.
and they're
builds.
very popular among foreign investors.
Defo.
Very popular. So this is really an important category for people to understand where it's going for short-term lettings. Now, it appears that for such residences to be able to carry out or allow short-term lettings, the initial management plan of the residence has to allow short-term lettings.
From the beginning, from the start.
Well,
or can you apply for it later on?
Either from the start, or you can apply later on. But the whole bottom line is the management plan of the residence has to allow it.
The whole residence.
Of the whole residence has to allow it. If the management plan allows it, and if you are operating, say, Airbnb-style short-term lettings, such as we do, then the operator needs to have a tourism license. So not only the management plan has to allow it, but the operator running the Airbnb has to have a tourism license.
And how do they get the tourism license?
Now, well, these are the difficulties. First of all, it sounds easy, the management plan allowing it. Well, a great majority of such residences, if you look at their management plans today as they stand, they do not allow short-term lettings. A great majority. They do not allow it.
Exactly.
Just imagine you are talking about a residence of 500 units.
Yeah.
For the management plan to include that particular allowance in it, the management needs to obtain at least 80% approval from the landlords.
Holy smoke.
Now you begin
80%?
At least 80%. That's the way to change the management plan.
That's massive.
In order to change a management plan, 80% has to approve it.
Okay.
Which means out of 500 units, 400 of them have to give their approval to this. Now, imagine a residence where you have 500 units, 300 are Turkish, they live in Turkey.
Yeah.
200 live anywhere in the world, either Turkish or foreign.
Okay.
You need to get their approval, and their approval can only be given in person or via an applicable power of attorney from wherever they are. So what I'm trying to get at is, it isn't just a decision that needs to be made by the management whether they should or should not approve it, and some managements categorically do not want it. But even if they want it, to get 80% of the landlords to approve to it is a hell of a task in itself.
Yeah, tell me about
What
it.
I'm trying to get at is residences that do not have this approval in their management plan, it isn't going to be easy for them to have the approval. Which means if you're looking at purchasing real estate with a view to generating these very handsome rental yields, running Airbnb or otherwise short-term lettings, make sure that what you buy is within a residence that allows short-term lettings. And do not take your agent's word, who will say to you, oh, don't worry, it will be allowed, or they'll make it okay. Because to have that kind of an allowance in the management plan is very, very difficult if it isn't there already. So that's one thing I want to say. And I hope that people take this on board. The second thing is, even if you have the management, if you wish to operate short-term lettings via Airbnb or otherwise,
Okay.
as an operator, you need a tourism license. So we need a tourism license as Property Turkey to operate it. So it isn't just the management plan, but the tourism license has to be there.
But we
too.
have one.
Well, we will have one within the next month, because we are applied and it's been pre-approved. For us to obtain a management license, a tourism license is not a big task, because we've been in operation for so many years.
We have a proven track record,
we have a proven track record, so we will get it without a doubt.
I know.
And before this law comes out, we'll have our management.
I know it is. That's why I'm sounding. That's why I'm being all cocky and all.
Yeah,
I know we'll get it.
So that's the first category.
Okay.
The second category is these boutique buildings, what we call the more family residences, the smaller, 10 units in one place, 20 units, 30 units in one place, whatever. Now, with the boutique type buildings, it's even more difficult.
That's what I was about to say.
Why?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Because this time, you need to get the approval of the landlords. So, say you own an apartment in a boutique residence of 30 units. Now, what you'll find generally is that boutique residences, these smaller apartments, generally are at least 80-90% local Turkish owned.
And most of them live in there as well, don't they?
They're homes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're homes for them.
Like myself.
Which in the past and still is a category of real estate that we heavily recommend our clients to buy. Why? Because if it's a home for a Turk, your exit strategy is there already.
Exactly.
So it's a very good investment for a foreign investor to buy into these smaller boutique residences in the right location, which acts as home for Turkish people. you've got an exit strategy easy, and price appreciation is going to be very constant and very stable and strong, because that's the demand in the country.
Exactly.
Country of, I think the average age being 30, 31, for the next so many years, the demand will never disappear in that segment.
No, absolutely
But when
not.
it comes to short-term lettings, okay, ask yourself.
Oh, well, I am actually. I'm currently. I
Would
was
you
asking
want?
myself, no.
Would you want
No.
your next door apartment to change once or twice a week?
No.
You
Absolutely
want to
not.
know your neighbors,
It
right?
would, well, absolutely, it would bother me. It would,
Exactly.
I mean,
It would bother you.
You don't know who's coming in. Like some nights, you don't know who's coming, who's
Exactly.
leaving. I mean, I don't want to go
Point
into
made.
further detail.
No, point made.
And we have had some problems.
And this is
with
going
my
to be
neighbors.
the difficulty. This is going to be the difficulty for the more boutique residences.
Yeah. And I can understand it.
Exactly. Now, that does not mean that foreign investors, should completely shy away from these boutique residences.
How do you get around it?
Well, how do you get around it is pretty much to make sure that you include that permission in the initial sales contract when you are building the residence.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, I see it being a challenge.
Yeah, which is what our team aims at each and every time. We either build or we sell. Yeah.
Absolutely. For example, we have two smaller residences that kind of would fall into this category rather than the high-rise, large-scale hotel-like residences in category 1.
Yeah.
They would fall into this category. Sense Levant is one
Exactly.
of them.
Exactly.
And now we just signed up in Central Shishli.
Another one in Shishli. I know, yeah.
Another 50-unit development, which is a very, very nice development, which we are going to go to market at extremely affordable prices, geared toward investors only. Well, what we're going to be doing is, well, we're doing in Sense Levant, with the second one in Shishli, what we shall be doing is every sales contract will have a clause in there allowing short-term lettings.
Exactly. So
From the beginning.
So if a Turkish guy moves in there like myself, they can't complain because
they know it.
They know
it from the beginning.
Exactly.
If
Yeah,
you're buying
absolutely.
here, short-term lettings are allowed in this residence.
Oh yeah, and also guys, if you haven't already done so, look up Sense Levant. It's amazing. It's going to be crazy. It's designed by this amazing man called Safet Kaya. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but I do love.
It's a
I
lovely,
do love that. Yeah.
urban project.
I mean, the guy's a bloody genius, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Please continue. Sorry.
Now and as you know, what we've done is we've come up with a brand called Sense Rewards.
Okay.
And the reward part of it is basically the reward that you get as an investor, being handsome returns, rental income, which is managed through the short-term lettings, Sense Rewards. And what we're doing is we're basically putting that in our contracts, sales contracts, right up front, that Sense Rewards scheme will be operated here. And Sense Reward scheme is a short-term letting scheme.
So nobody can complain, and that's what
exactly, because they know it all up front.
Exactly.
So that's that. And the third category that I'd like to talk about is these small buildings operated as kind of guest houses, small hotels, either with or without a tourism license. Now, this segment of the real estate market is highly in demand lately. Why? Because if you look at larger scale 4-5-star hotels, I'm looking at it from the viewpoint of a hotel investor.
Okay.
If you look at it, if you look at the larger 4-5-star hotels, the average payback period in Istanbul today is around 25 years. 25 years means that your investment will pay back in 25 years, which gives you really, if you look at the arithmetics, 4% ROI.
That's
which
what I was
means
thinking. It's a long
your
time.
return, your annual operating bottom line is 4% as a 4 or 5-star hotel operator. Now, 4% does not excite anybody.
No, definitely not. Even me.
And why is that the case? Because 4 and 5 star hotels, when you look at the freeholds, these freeholds, especially the ones that are in premium locations, they are very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Very, very expensive. In a market, in an economy where tourism is one of the top revenue generators, and particularly in a city such as Istanbul, where tourist numbers are climbing year on year, it is no doubt that 4 and 5 star hotels, the freeholds of such operations are, command a significant premium. However, if you look at the smaller, almost no star, what we call the boutique hotels or buildings segment, you can pick these buildings up, touch them up a little bit, or slightly rearrange the floor plans and bring them into an optimum sort of frame. And when you look at the income you can generate and compare it to the investment, you're looking at, in places, 10-year payback periods.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there is a gap in the market. People have not yet cottoned on to this opportunity that, hey, smaller, more authentic. A lot of people are preferring these days rather than big impersonal hotels where when you walk into the breakfast saloon in the morning, you herded together, open buffet usually, even in 5-star ones. When you sit down, you look around, there are 500 other people in the same. I absolutely hate that myself. Money would.
I'm sorry to say, guys,
no
but
amount of money would.
No,
it's
just not.
The thing is, whereas in the more small, more boutiques, there's a family feel and there's that authentic feel.
Yeah.
Plus, the room rates are less. So instead of spending $200 a night in a 5-star hotel, for $100 a night, you stay in one of those small buildings or small boutique hotels, and you get a more authentic Turkey feel.
Well, it's like home away from home.
It's exactly home away from home. Now, though, here's the thing.
Oh, no.
Here's the thing.
Oh, no.
This lovely lucrative sector may be receiving a bit of a blow. Because if the building does not have a hotel license, you can only do 25% of the rooms on Airbnb short-term lettings. So if you have, I don't know, 10 rooms, you can only let out 2-3 rooms.
So what's the logic behind this, though? I mean,
well, it's the same logic, isn't it? They're trying to restrict the supply of short-term lettings. So that hotels can make more money. So that hotels can make more money, basically, as that. And so that they are regulating who does what in the market, which I kind of agree with it. But
no, I respect that as well, but it's got me baffled because, if you're giving 25% to a building that's owned by one person, I mean, what's he going to do with the rest? What, rent it out long term?
Long term, yeah. Just like a normal apartment, yeah.
Okay.
That's the idea. However, if the same building, exactly, all factors the same, does have a hotel license,
bang, Bob's your uncle.
You can do whatever you like in short-term lettings business. So, if you're looking for such buildings, which most certainly are very lucrative and will deliver very good returns to you, make sure that the building has a hotel license. Because next year, those buildings that do not have hotel licenses will be subjected to very heavy restrictions as to what they can and cannot do.
And is it possible to get this license afterwards? I mean,
it is.
Do we help with this?
It is.
Where do we come in?
It is. So you may buy a building that doesn't have a license and apply for it. But my projection is that they will make it very difficult to get these licenses, because if they made it easy, they're back to square
Everybody
one.
would get it.
They're back to square one. They've done nothing. So they will make it rather difficult. They'll probably look at the operator and they'll try and judge whether the operator is indeed
qualified
from a hospitality sector and qualified to run a hotel. Yeah. And if you're eyeing up that sector, rightly so, make sure you don't take a wrong step. Come and talk to us, and then we'll do our best to help you, because this will happen next year. So these are the two categories that I
Three,
wanted
actually.
to talk about. Three
Three, yeah.
categories I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So, these are the categories of real estate that are key ready, generally, that you can come, invest today, and hopefully start generating income tomorrow, which again, we're seeing that there is a trend of people demanding more and more key ready properties as opposed to off-plan or under construction properties, for the reason that people want liquidity. People want to invest and generate income,
Understandably.
without having to wait 2-3 years for it to be completed, which is understandable.
Okay, well, allow me to pick your brain then, please, if you don't mind. Now, you mentioned key ready a few times, so obviously you're saying, right, get out there and buy a ready apartment. That's what you're saying to me. Well, that's what I'm coming for. Yet for years, we've come out and said, look, buy off plan, buy under construction. So are you not shooting yourself in the foot? Are you not? I don't know. I mean, seriously, because we've said this for years, and I know that a lot of our clients have made a lot of money because we've offered off plan, under construction. Talk to me. What are you saying?
Do you know what, Nez?
What?
Before I answer that question, and I think that's a fantastic question, and I was hoping you'd ask that.
Oh, thank you.
Because if you hadn't, it would be a little bit strange of me to bring it up, having praised key ready properties.
Yeah, but come on, we've been saying...
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but Cheyenne, who is sitting there, right there,
Hey, Cheyenne.
has just wrote on a piece of paper
What's he written?
one word. He says villas.
Oh,
he
we've
just
forgotten about villas.
reminded me
Yeah,
that
I've forgotten
did
about it.
not talk about villas. So, really and truly, my
All right.
I had 4 categories, didn't I, Cheyenne? Not 3.
Well, hang on, though. Cheyenne, no, don't cut us off. This is now my show, so I will show off here.
Go on, then.
No, seriously. Sorry, mate. Answer this first, please, if you can,
I
and
will.
then we'll go to villas, okay?
The villas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I really want to know.
Okay, look. If it is a case of ready-made property that I can generate income today, or going for an off-plan property or under construction property that possibly, well, hopefully, comes at a price advantage, okay? Which one should I choose? I would say this. And this I'm saying with the next 2 to 3 years of the Turkish market as I project it in my mind.
Okay.
This is based on my own projections of how the market will develop in the next 2-3 years in Turkey. Go for off-plan still, if you can. I'm not saying at the exclusion of ready-made, but off-plan, purchasing off-plan is still a very valid investment if you come in very early on
Exactly.
into the project. If the project has been selling for the past 12 months, 18 months, it's 50-60% completed already, then go for a ready-made.
Because the price has already peaked.
Exactly.
It's
Because
already peaked.
you will grab an early bird advantage when you come in off plan.
Yeah. And so
For
you should.
example,
And
for
so
example,
you should.
look at St. Slevent.
Yeah.
Look at the new Shishli project. When we first start selling, we tend only to sell to our existing clients. We call them literally and say, look, we're beginning. Do you want to come in? Why? Because we offer them very, very heavy discounts to come in. And what they're doing by coming in early on is they're financing us to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in return, we're giving them a very good discount. So in as little as 1 or 2 years, they can see a very steep appreciation of their investment.
Brick by brick, the price changes, mate. The
And we are
prices keep on
also
rising.
there to sell that for them. So they're happy. They know they've got their exit because we have it covered. So if you're catching a scenario like this, do not shy away from investing off plan. You will make significant funds, significant gains in the Turkish economy. Wait till end of summer next year, and what I'm saying today will be so apparent to everybody when the market goes into its next wave of sharp increase for the next 10 years, which I expect to start end of second, maybe third quarter of next year.
Yeah, we're going to start climbing, aren't we?
We will. Now,
Definitely.
that's the time when coming into off-plan in particular, and even now, is going to really be to your advantage. Having said that, key ready property at the right price, and there are some good deals to be had now in key ready properties. It's a slow market. Turkish buyers are not out to play because of very high interest rates, cost of borrowing.
And they can't
So
afford
it's a very slow market. Very slow market always presents itself with very handsome opportunities for investors who have the cash in their pocket. So if you are one of those, come in. We'll have the right properties for you at the right price that you can grab and start generating very handsome returns from tomorrow. So really, it all depends. I'm not saying buy only key ready or completed properties. No, I'm not saying that.
You can't, can you?
I'm
I mean,
saying
there's always an
evaluate.
opportunity somewhere.
Evaluate.
Yeah, exactly. Come,
Exactly.
like, talk to us. Tell us what's going
Exactly.
through your mind, what you can afford, and then we will guide you along accordingly.
Exactly.
I mean, eventually you still make the decision. You're still the buyer. We're just here to advise you and put you in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly. So yeah, I mean that's what I would say. Now,
getting back to villas.
so basically for villas, the situation is it is made rather easy. I would imagine to foster tourism on the coast, Mediterranean and Aegean coasts of Turkey, and it's a very good idea too. And in order to run Airbnb for your villa, all you will have to do is to obtain a permission from the local municipality, because tourism permissions are obtained from the tourism ministry. So that's a long pipeline, the ministry.
For the apartments.
For everything
For
else we
everything
talked
else,
about. Licenses are obtained from the tourism ministry, the tourism licenses, etc. But this, for the villas, you don't have to go to tourism ministry. What you do is you go to your local municipality. So if you're in Yalıkavak, Bodrum, you go to the municipality in Yalıkavak, Bodrum.
Yeah.
So and you present your case, and you will get your permission very quickly, because they're encouraging it.
Of course they are.
So owning villas as second homes, holiday homes along the coast of Turkey, south coast of Turkey, is a very, very good idea, and a better idea now. It seems.
Well, yeah, it's definitely profitable, isn't it? I mean,
Very
there's
profitable.
big bucks to be made there.
Very
I
profitable.
mean, some of the money that they're talking about, nightly money, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't want to mention any, sum here, but it's ridiculous. It really is.
I think
really is.
what we had done is we had done a search. I think Drake and Dennis had done that, a search on lettings situation in Turkey, and we focused on short-term lettings. When we looked at short-term lettings in Istanbul through Airbnb, there are a few areas that are coming up trumps.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders over all other areas, such as Beyoğlu, Şişli, Beşiktaş, these three
Kadıköy.
areas. And Kadıköy,
Kadıköy
kind of
is
follows
on the other
them.
side.
But Şişli, Beşiktaş, Beyoğlu, these areas, they score the highest occupancy rates for short-term lettings, and it's not surprising.
Well, we've actually got a chart on that as well, so maybe we can put it up.
We do. And on the south coast, Bodrum.
Yeah.
Amazing rates, amazing figures. So this is where we are, and I hope the information was clear.
Once again, thank you very much, Cameron Deggan, and till next time, stay safe.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, once again, you can reach us through our WhatsApp number, or you can comment, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.